Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Educational Monday. And today I would like to welcome you all for a workshop on building strong relationships. Today, we will explore the vital role of emotional intelligence, which we've been doing for the past 3 weeks. And as we do that, we will foster a meaningful connection with others. And that is what the focus on today's session is. We talked about the components, and I'll remind them again in a few slides, but today we are going to focus on the fourth component of emotional intelligence, and that is building strong relationships. It is the relationship management, which we will cover the practical strategies on how you deal with how you enhance empathy, how you deal with communication, conflict resolution skills, and cultivating strong and supportive relationship in personal and professional spheres. So I would like to share the PowerPoint of today's session. And as we go through the emotional intelligence, I want you to remember the four pillars or the four parts of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness are really the first fundamental three parts. And today we're going over the relationship management. Relationship management is including skills and abilities that you would use in order to facilitate a positive, constructive connection with others. We're going to talk about this and empathy and how you would develop that in the upcoming slides. So in the practical strategies and techniques that I will give you today, I want you to be able to use empathy, active listening skills, and navigate complex conflicts with other individuals. So let's explore the relationship management, and let's see how that can enrich our life and empower us to create a fulfilled connection with other individuals around us. So first, what is a relationship management? Relationship management within the context of emotional intelligence really refers to the ability of how you can effectively navigate and nurture interpersonal connections with others. Relationship management includes both personal and professional relationships, but it emphasizes on the importance of empathy, active listening, and effective communication in order to foster mutual respect. It involves empathy, communication skills, and conflict resolution in order to build and even maintain strong, positive relationships. Individuals that have high emotional intelligence excel in understanding others' perspective. They can manage conflict in a constructive way and can foster collaboration and trust. Let's focus on the importance of empathy in building strong relationships. I want to go over some tips that would help you as you go through the understanding of empathy. So first, let's understand. Empathy is what allows us to see other person's emotions, perspective, and experiences. When we put ourselves in someone else's shoes, we gain insight into their thoughts, feelings, and even foster a deeper connection and mutual understanding. You never know what the other person goes through. So putting yourself in other person's shoes create this ability of connecting with the other person. The second one is connections. When we empathize with others, we show them that we care and we value their experiences. So that actually creates a sense of connection and trust. You are laying a strong foundation, and that creates a very supportive relationship. Number three, conflict resolution. Empathy really plays a very important role when you resolve conflicts. By emphasizing the empathy that you have towards the other individual and the other individual's feelings and motivations, you can really find a common ground and work towards a mutually benefit solution. And lastly, communication. Empathy enhances communication by facilitating active listening and genuine understanding. When we empathize with others, we are more attentive, we are more responsive, and we lead to a more meaningful and effective connection. Let's go through some tips on how you develop empathy. It is really not easy to do. And so if you practice these 6 tips I'm giving you, that would enhance your ability to develop empathy. The first one would be to practice active listening. So active listening is when you are listening to someone and you are trying to do things to show that you're actually focusing and you're truly listening to the other person without judgment, without interpretation. Pay attention to their words, the tone that the person is using, body language. Body language is extremely important because you understand the perspective this way a lot better than just nodding your head as the conversation goes on. So really try to pay attention to not just words, but also body language. Put yourself in their shoes. That is the major part of empathy. When you demonstrate a genuine interest in the other person by asking them questions, opinions, feelings, you want to consider their background, experience, emotions to gain a much deeper understanding of their perspective. To help you in that part, the third part is asking open-ended questions. When you ask open-ended questions, you're demonstrating genuine interest in the other person and you're asking their opinions. You're trying to encourage them to share their thoughts and feelings. You're trying to have a question which will invite them to express themselves fully. Number 4, show genuine interest. Demonstrate genuine interest in others by asking about their experiences, opinions, and feelings. I know it sounds the same, but it's pretty much all involves empathy because this shows empathy through your words and actions when you are actually letting them know that you care about their well-being. Practice empathy language. There is a specific language that conveys understanding and support. Validate others' feelings and experiences and acknowledge their emotions without judgment. And that is the key word. Do not judge or give your opinion, just understand the other person. And lastly, reflect on your own experiences. Reflect on your own emotions, experiences to cultivate empathy towards the other, because this way you can recognize some things that happened common to you or some differences that you can use as your own insight to show the empathy as the other person's perspective. So when you cultivate empathy, you can really deepen your connection with others. You can navigate conflicts much more effectively, and then that is consequently will build stronger, more fulfilling relationships in all aspects of life. That is correct for both personal and professional relationship. Now, let me explain what active listening is, because active listening is really important in a lot of different things that we do in communication. Active listening is a communication technique that involves fully engaging with the speaker. You want to focus and understand what the speaker is saying. It goes so much beyond the words that you're hearing. It actually shows you that you are listening to the person as you are listening. There's the book of 7 Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey says that we are listening to respond. And that is not the exact quote, but that's really what the meaning is. A lot of times when we have communication with people, we listen, but we don't really listen. We are ready to respond already. Before the person had finished the sentence, we already want to say what we have to say about. So active listening is really focusing on what the person is saying, focusing on all the words on the message without really trying to use your emotions and respond to it, or at least not rushing to respond. Let's look at this at some techniques on active listening. So first and foremost, give your full undivided attention. When a person is speaking to you, eliminate all distractions, put your phone away, give them your undivided attention. It is actually very disrespectful when you look at a phone or when you look aside when a person is trying to speak to you. So maintain eye contact. Not occasionally, show them that you're actually listening and hearing it. Use your facial expression to show that you are actively listening to the person. A lot of what you're saying and what you're hearing can be shown using your facial and body language. Paraphrase and summarize. Throughout the conversation, paraphrase the speaker's main points, summarize what they're saying. You can say this actually doesn't just show that you are listening, but also clarifies, right? It makes sure that you understood it correctly. And the way you can say that is, oh, I understand you said this and that. Or is that what you meant by saying whatever that statement is? It really creates a big connection with that individual that you're speaking with. Ask clarified question. If something you didn't understand, if there's something that wasn't clear enough, don't hesitate to ask questions. It's better to ask because it shows that you are actually engaged and interested in the full comprehension of the conversation rather than just assuming what the speaker have meant or what the person was trying to say. Many mistakes happen by assumptions. We tell a story not necessarily related to what the person is trying to say. So ask those clarifying questions. Reflect emotions. Pay attention to the speaker's tone of voice, body language, and emotional cues. Because when you reflect back to their emotions by acknowledging how they might feel, an example for that would be, it sounds like you are feeling frustrated about situation X. It just validates and reflects on their emotions. Avoid interrupting. Resist the urge to interrupt, like I mentioned. Do not try to respond. Get the whole information from the person before you put your opinion or suggest your resolution. Let the speaker finish the thought before you actually respond. This will avoid any steering of the conversation in a different direction. And lastly, not lastly, there are a few others. Provide encouragement, offer words of encouragement to support the speaker to create a safe and open environment for communication. That again shows empathy because then you're understanding and validating the experiences and the emotions of the other person in the conversation. Be patient, not judgmental. Listen without judging or jumping to conclusions. Be patient and open-minded. Allow the person to express themselves fully without the fear of criticism or judgment. You also want to use positive language, use open language to convey warmth and receptiveness, because then when you do that, you really help and maintain an open communication. Use gestures to show that you are engaged and attentive. When you're practicing active listening techniques, you can foster deeper connections, you can improve communication, and the most important thing, you can build trust, and that will help you that would help you with the interaction of the other person. Conflict resolution. There are certain strategies that will help you, and you want to take the time to understand the underlying reasons behind conflict. The first one is understanding the root cause. Take the time to understand the underlying reason behind the conflict. Identify the specific issue, the specific concern. What is the emotion that involved from both perspectives? Then you're going to engage in active listening. And as we said, active listening is when you're fully try to understand the other person's view. So pay attention to their words, their tone, their body language. Reflect back to what you hear, as we said before, to ensure that you actually understand. How do we change that conflict into effective communication? We do that by clearly expressing your thoughts, feelings, concerns, and you want to express that in a calm and respectful manner. Try to avoid the statement I. Those are statements that, try to avoid the statements we and use the statement I instead. Instead of saying, you made me feel this, you can say, I feel this, without actually blaming the person or taking responsibility for your feelings. Always try to express your thoughts without involving the other person in your perspective. Empathy and perspective taking. Put yourself in the other's shoes and try to understand their perspective. Show empathy by acknowledging their feelings, even if you don't agree with those feelings. Validate the experience and then take it from there. You can say that I understand how you feel, and maybe this situation had caused you feel this way. However, and then you can express whatever it is that you're trying to express. This really opens a clear communication. Focus on solution, not blame. If you shift the focus from assigning blame to the specific individual, it would allow you to find a mutual acceptable solution. Collaborate with the other person. Brainstorm if possible. There are many solutions that can be addressed by both parties. And when you foster a calm environment and try to come for a resolution, it would be so much easier to do that by focusing on the solution rather than the blame. Seek common grounds, identify common goals, interests that you share with the other person. Focus on areas of agreements. What things do you agree or can work together to find a win-win solution that satisfies both parties? Again, I'm going to go back to the seven the 7 habits of highly effective people. Focus on win-win. When both parties can resolve from a resolution that would cause both of them to win in any possible way. And lastly, as I mentioned before, use the I language, avoid accusation language. Use the statement to express your feeling. So instead of saying, you always do whatever, I feel frustrated when you do certain things. So that takes away from blaming the person and acknowledging that it is your feeling. Remember, we are the only ones responsible for the way we feel. Nobody can make us feel happy, sad, angry. Those are feelings within you, and you are the one that making yourself feel this way. Practice assertiveness. Assertively communicate your boundaries, needs, expectations, while respecting the other person's boundaries as well. Be firm but respectful in expressing your concerns and your preferences, but definitely acknowledge that other people have their boundaries as well. Take breaks when necessary. If the emotions are running high and you see that the conversation is really becoming too heated, it's okay to take a break. Seek for safety when possible. It's easier to continue later when things are just calming down. So revisit the discussion when both parties are calmer and more composed. And lastly, focus on long-term solution. Keep the bigger picture in mind. The aim for the long-term solution is more important. So address the underlying issue than just have a temporary fix for something. Because when you do that, be willing to come to a common ground, be willing to compromise if needed, make concessions for the sake of maintaining a healthy relationship. When you take those constructive conflict resolution strategies, you can foster understanding, you can improve communication, and of course, that can reach a mutual benefit, a benefit that becomes an outcome that strengthens relationships with others. So let's overview the effective communication skills. So effective communication skills are essential for building strong relationships because they resolve conflicts and, like I said before, achieve mutual understanding. There are three important parts for communication skill: assertiveness, clarity, and nonverbal communication. In assertiveness, it's really involving expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your needs in a very clear and direct manner while respecting the rights and the boundaries of others. It means that you're standing up for yourself and communicating assertiveness without being aggressive or passive. Assertiveness involves expressing your thoughts, your feelings, your needs, and you do that confidently and respectfully. It requires to stand up for yourself, to set your boundaries, and to advocate your rights without putting the rights of somebody else in front. Assertiveness communication really promotes mutual respect. It fosters healthier relationship, and you want to make sure that that is seen in terms of your self-esteem is exposed there as well. Clarity. Clarity in communication means expressing yourself in a concise, understandable, and straightforward manner. It involves organizing your thoughts using a simple, precise language, and you want to avoid ambiguity and confusion. Clarity in communication ensures that your message is easily understood by others. It involves organizing your thoughts logically, using simple but precise language. You want to avoid complex terminology. You want to set your conversation to be understood by any individual you are conversing with, so try to communicate more clearly. Clear communication helps prevent misunderstandings, promote effective decision-making, and enhance overall comprehension. The last portion, and I think it's the most important component of communication, that is the nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication includes body language, facial expression, gesture, tone of voice, eye contact. It plays such a significant role in conveying your emotions, your attitude, your attention. It also can contradict if you use the wrong body language. So pay attention to your own body language, but also pay attention to other people's body language. Nonverbal cues, which include facial expression, body posture, those are all showing attitude and intentions. Effective nonverbal communication enhance the clarity and the intentions, and that can help establish support, build trust, and strengthen interpersonal connections. When you have those communication skills, you can really become more effective in communication. You can foster a better understanding. You can have trust and collaboration in your interactions with others. There is a workshop I've done back, I think in January or maybe December, on effective communication skills. And you might want to go back and revisit my YouTube channel to find that specific video that gives you a lot more insight on how you can effectively communicate, including the nonverbal communication skills. Emphasizing the key elements of building and maintaining strong relationships. So I want to include the importance of empathy, because that builds trust, the collaboration. And when we emphasize on those keys, that builds up the communication. So communication, effective communication, lies at the heart of any strong relationship. So encourage open, honest, and respectful communication where both parties feel heard and feel understood. Foster an environment where individuals feel comfortable enough to express their thoughts, their feelings, and their needs without being afraid of being judged or dismissed. Trust. Trust forms the foundation of any healthy relationship. Cultivating trust through reliability, through honesty, and consistency in your actions and words. Demonstrate integrity when you keep your promise, when you maintain confidentiality, and being transparent in your interactions. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feeling of others. We've talked about it already. So encourage empathy by actively listening to others. Acknowledge their emotions, validate their experiences. It's okay to agree with someone, even if you don't agree with the outcome, but agree with their feelings. You don't know what the other person is actually feeling. So acknowledging their feelings and fostering this compassion where the individual can feel much more supported and cared for will increase the relationship. And respect is essential for fostering mutual admiration, dignity, and consideration in relationship. Treat others with kindness, with courtesy, with appreciation, regardless of the difference in the opinions or background. Value the other person's perspectives, opinions, boundaries, and avoid actions or behavior that undermine their autonomy or their worth. Compromise. Healthy relationships do require the willingness to compromise and find a mutually accepted solution or in a conflict or a disagreement. Of course, the best way to be is seeking for win-win, but when that's not possible, encourage flexibility. Cooperate with whatever it takes to seek for a win-win by balancing the needs and the interest of all parties involved. When we talk about win-win, you don't always get 100% benefit from whatever the outcome is coming to be. But win-win just means you're not losing something as you go and you do something. So you foster a collaborative mindset where individuals work together towards a common goal and share their successes. Support. Offer support and encouragement to those you care about during both times of joy and, of course, times of hardship. Be there to collaborate their achievements. Lend a listening ear during challenges. Provide assistance when needed. Show empathy, understanding, solidarity in their experiences, and reinforce the strength of the bond. It's not all good all the time, so be there to support when it's not. Boundaries. Establish and respecting boundaries is essential for maintaining healthy and respectful relationship. So encourage individuals to communicate their boundaries clearly and assertively. Respect those boundaries of others. Create a safe and comfortable environment where everyone feels secure, respected in their personal space, and understand their personal emotions. So when you emphasize those keys, communication, trust, empathy, respect, compromise, support, and boundaries, you can cultivate such a strong relationship. It could be a supportive relationship, one that fulfilled with a lot more thrive throughout the years. It can really build over time. Encourage everybody to prioritize these elements. So when you have a communication, follow these parts of effective communication and make sure that everybody can understand you, but also understand others. So as I conclude this workshop, I want to reflect on the insight that we gained throughout the building the relationship through emotional intelligence. We've talked about exploring the importance of empathy, active listening, effective communication, and of course, that creates a fostering and meaningful connection with others. Remember that relationships are built on trust. They're built on understanding, and they're built on collaboration. When you incorporate those skills into your interactions, you can cultivate a deeper, more fulfilling relationships in all aspects of life. I truly appreciate your participation here, and I really encourage you to continue participating as we will go through the professional and personal skills of emotional intelligence. Next week, I have a very special guest who is a clinical psychologist and a coach, Hersha Diaz. Please watch for the advertisement that we're going to post. She's going to help us understand the emotional intelligence in a deeper way. She will use those 4 parts, 4 pillars of emotional intelligence, and hopefully that would really encourage you all the understanding of what it actually means to cultivate emotional intelligence. Feel free to send me questions if you want to participate live in those workshops. Definitely doable. Please send me a message and I will send you a link, at which point you can ask questions while we at the Zoom meeting. So feel free to do so. Until our educational journey crosses again, always remember that learning is a gateway to a bright future. Until next week, see you all